Before we get started with today's episode, I want to let you know about our current Design Her Travel newsletter. It is where we share all of the behind the scenes of the episode, my own personal stories, and travel tips that can help you travel longer for less or create the life of your dreams. It really is a place to connect even more deeply with Design Her Travel, and I would love for you to hop on our weekly newsletter. I won't spam you with daily email, but I will send you one beautiful newsletter a week. So if you are interested, then click the link in the show notes and get started now. I will see you there.
There are those moments in life where just sort of all of your experience and knowledge and the work and my intuition just all came together. And I put together a program.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Design Her Travel podcast. I'm your host, Kim Anderson. As an avid traveler, global nomad, and someone who considers himself a citizen of the world, I want to say welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. My hope in creating this podcast is to inspire you to take the leap of faith and to design the life of your dreams. For me, that includes connecting with like-minded individuals and creating a community of souls living their best lives out, in, and around the world. Each week, you'll hear stories and conversations from fellow travelers who have figured out how to incorporate travel as a key component in their daily lives. Their stories are beautiful and inspiring, just like you. I can't wait to go on this journey with you. So let's do this. Here we go. Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back to today's episode of the Design Her Travel podcast. I'm your host, Kim Anderson. Today is a treat because we are talking about a subject that affects every single one of us. It affects some of us more than others, some trips more than others, but today we are talking all things jet lag. I know it's one of those things, it's like the worst part of travel. But we're not just talking about jet lag, we are actually talking about how to beat it, what you can do to get rid of jet lag. As today's guest, Andrew Herr, says, jet lag is a choice. So Andrew is a human performance expert who's helped Navy SEALs, Olympians, and globe-trotting CEOs and executives to fly around the world, but make sure that when they land, they are sharp, focused, and on top of their game. So how does he do this magic? Well, Andrew is the founder of FlyKitt. FlyKitt is a science-backed system that's designed to help you skip the crash and feel amazing from the moment that you land. It really does sound like the golden ticket, and I think you're going to be amazed as you listen to Andrew talk about FlyKitt, talk about its performance, see how it's helped people, and really understand all of the information that Andrew brings to the table in this wildly new frontier of health tech. This episode is amazing, and it's something that can revolutionize our travels. So if you're anything like me and you've ever arrived in a new location, but feel like you've left your brain in the place that you departed from, then this episode is for you. So let's get started. Well, hello, Andrew. I am so excited to have this conversation with you today. Thank you for joining me and welcome to Design Her Travel.
So good to be here, Kim. Thanks for having me on. I think we're going to have an exciting conversation about sort of the physiology and deeper design of travel experiences to feel great and have fun.
Yes, because makes life all the better when we can have fun. And so as a podcast about travel, it's always fun to hear where people come to us from. So where in the world are you currently?
I'm based in Southern California. So for people who like sun most of the year, it's a solid place to live.
Nice. And is that like hometown? Were you raised there or adult choice?
I was born and raised there. I left and went to Washington, D.C. for 15 years and made my way back eventually.
I love it. Southern California it tends to be one of those places that just calls people back. It's just a beautiful part of the world. And so, doing any sort of research on you and FlyKitt and just the things you've done in life, the thing that pops up first is human performance expert. And so, besides the title just sounding super badass, it sounds like an adventure to get there. So, how did that come to be? What is that? How did that come to be?
Life seems to have a bunch of synchronicities or serendipities that sort of drive it along, and certainly that's the case for me. So I would say if I lived my life 10 times, 5 of them I've been a doctor. My dad's a doctor. My mom's side of the family is like sort of military, including some real war hero stuff. And I found a program in university where I could do both. So I went to Georgetown and I ended up doing a degree in science, technology, and national security, like kind of the merge of the both. And then I had an opportunity to go to graduate school and have the government pay for it. And I ended up getting graduate degrees in health physics and microbiology and immunology and a third master's in national security policy. And someone walked into the career center and said, "Hey, we need someone who does biology and national security and can write." And like, well, we know this guy. And I got hired to run studies on the future of human performance and human enhancement and all those kinds of related things for basically the Secretary of Defense's think tank based in the Pentagon. And that was really the start of career working on how to make people kind of look, feel, perform, and think like they want to.
Holy smokes. That is just wild. And so when you are, studying human performance, what does that look like? What kind of things are you doing?
I mean, it's really a combination because all performance is relative, right? Like the performance for a chess player is very different from the performance for a marathon runner. And yet there also are some really interesting overlaps. So a chess player can burn 10,000 calories in a tournament day, and a marathon runner is obviously going to burn a ton of calories running 26 miles. So what does that mean? That means we're thinking about cognitive, physical, and socio-emotional kind of leadership and interpersonal types of performance and how they merge and meld. So I've done work on everything from the physiology behind why leadership styles matter and how they affect subordinates, all the way to how scuba diving and the pressure changes involved in that cause inflammation in the body. And by the way, when you go to altitude, there's a big pressure change in a plane, how that might matter, all the way to, what supplements would I give somebody who's about to go deploy to another region of the world as a special operator because they're going in a week and I need to decide what to give them.
That's wild. And so what's your favorite aspect about this, human performance and your application of it? Like, what is it that you love about it?
For me, it's always going to be about allowing people to achieve their goals that are somehow making their family, community, the world a better place. So to empower people, to enable people with things that they just didn't think were possible, whether it's recovering faster from an injury so you can deploy with your unit as a military personnel, or solving jet lag so you can hit the ground. And we have executives now that have meetings in Dubai or Asia and go for one day because they no longer just are absolutely destroyed and they can come home to their family and take care of the kids and be a good spouse and all those things because of the work we do. So, I think it's all about the impact, and the impact can be very micro, and it can be helping leaders unlock psychology that then helps them build a big company that's doing good things.
Brilliant. What a beautiful outlook and aspect to your work. You could come from any direction. And so I love that yours is contribution to the betterment of humanity. That's beautiful. And so, we're going to touch on jet lag much more, but you're also like an adventurer yourself. So jet lag is probably something that has affected you. So I've seen something about some eagles and nomads. And so give us a little bit of background in your adventure.
I mean, I've been blessed to do a fair amount of travel. And when I was, in my 20s and early 30s, I really prioritized adventure travel. So I took my kid brother to Mongolia. I went to the middle of the desert in Turkmenistan on a second trip to Mongolia with a guy who I'd met on the first trip to Mongolia. I ended up living with a nomadic herder and these ethnic Kazakhs in the western part of Mongolia train eagles to hunt. And we lived with him and rode into the mountains on the horses. So definitely had some really beautiful experiences. I mean, the sort of the edges of human experience in some way on that trip are something like seeing an eagle kill a wolf. To the other edge, maybe for the first time in my life, certainly the first time I ever really noticed it, having a moment of absolute silence. There was no wind, and between the breaths of the horses up on the ridge, it was just a very striking moment of absolute silence. And I just don't know if I've ever had that before.
And so, with your study of human performance, have you used yourself as a guinea pig to help develop FlyKitt, or were you like the principal reason you decided jet lag a solution you wanted to have?
So I use myself as a guinea pig all the time on all kinds of experiments. I love running experiments. And so it's whether it's the diet, supplements, meditation, breath work, all these different tools. I absolutely try things out and see what works and definitely helps me understand things. Although obviously different people physiologically and psychologically are quite different. And so just because something works for me doesn't mean it'll work for someone else and vice versa. But because I'm blessed to be quite in tune with my body, I really can often notice when things are working and then kind of go from there. Now, the jet lag story starts because of a client of mine named David. I used to coach one-on-one very successful executives, and it was a Sunday. Came to me and said, Andrew, we're getting killed here on travel to Asia. We fly to Seoul, Korea from the East Coast of the US. You land at 3 or 4 p.m. There's a big dinner that night, and they want to negotiate at 7 a.m. the next morning, and they're using jet lag as a negotiating tool. Like, what should I do? And oh, by the way, I'm leaving on Sunday. So I was like, okay, great, David. Thanks for letting me know. I'll deliver something to your office tomorrow. And so for the first time in my life, I sat down and thought specifically about how to solve jet lag. And there are those moments in life where just sort of all of your experience and knowledge and the research I was doing in that moment on what was available in the scientific literature online and my intuition just all came together. And I put together a program, the first one ever, typed on Microsoft Word, sent it to him by email, dropped off a package the next day of sort of bottles of pills. It was very janky, glasses, and these other things we needed. And he flew off. And I didn't think much of it. And then the next day, or maybe 36 hours later, whenever it was the following morning after he'd arrived in Korea, I get an email saying, Andrew, what did you do? I just slept 8 hours my first night. And so by hook or by crook, I got it right on the first try. And then figured out some of the reasons I'd gotten it right that I didn't totally understand why I had done something right. And then since then I've refined it and gotten it better. But if he'd said like, hey, it didn't work that first time, I probably just would have kind of forgotten about it. Or maybe I would have tried again with him or another client. But because it had such a big effect size, I started trying it with other people. And I kept getting emails or text messages being like, this is incredible. I feel great. I slept well my first night. And now fast forward to raising venture capital money and building out a company focused on how to optimize people's health when they travel. More than 90% of people, right now we think about 93% of people can travel anywhere in the world with minimal to no jet lag, and you don't have to do anything before the morning you leave.
Which is wild. Like that number is staggeringly high. That percentage is so high. It caught my eye immediately looking at your website, and it just says in big letters, jet lag is a choice. And so why? Like, why is jet lag a choice?
Basically, we figured out something new about the physiology behind it that unlocks the whole puzzle. So I mentioned this work with Navy SEALs who are diving, and then if you come up too fast from diving, you get the bends or decompression sickness, and it kill you. It could be very serious. Well, it turns out when you fly, when you go to altitude, you usually from around sea level rapidly go to about 5,000 to 8,000 feet in relative altitude very quickly. Depends on the plane for what cabin pressure they keep it at. And so it turns out this is enough to cause a little mini version of this inflammatory response that we saw that researchers had discovered in these divers. And so it turns out that when you don't get enough sleep, it causes inflammation also. So people who are trying to shift their circadian rhythm, if you're flying to Asia and you sleep a whole night, you'll wake up at like 4 p.m. Tokyo time, and you're never going to be able to go to bed that night. So you have to get less sleep than usual. Well, now you get less sleep than usual, you're triggering some of the same inflammation, and now you have from the flight also. And when you put those together, these things are exponential. And so your body just gets totally messed up. And so what we had to figure out was, how do you block the inflammation so you can get less sleep, so you can go to bed at a reasonable time, so you're tired to go to bed that night at your destination, And oh, by the way, what are all the tools I can use to push and pull your circadian rhythm? And so it turns out we're doing about a dozen different things throughout your trip to shift your circadian rhythm. And it's a very sophisticated scheduling algorithm to do it. And thankfully, now we have an app that just tells you what to do and gives you a notification. It's very simple because you got to eat at the right time. Sometimes you want light exposure in the morning. Sometimes you don't want light exposure in the morning. Sometimes you want light exposure at night. Sometimes you don't want it. Some supplements push you this way and some supplements push you that way for circadian rhythm. And so it's, the sort of general advice out there is probably helpful, but the nuance of it is what allows us to do it essentially perfectly.
Yeah, because there's a difference depending on which direction you're flying, like what if you're moving forward or backward or all of those things. And so tell us what FlyKitt is.
So FlyKitt is the really, really nice and easy to use version of what I delivered to that guy, David, in a box to his office. You answer a few simple questions in the app about your body and your day-to-day schedule, caffeine usage, stuff like that. All stuff you can answer, but some of it that we're able to abstract out. We're able to figure out some physiological stuff like if you get less than 6 hours of sleep for one night, how bad do you feel? And the answer to that question tells me a little bit about how susceptible you are to inflammation from lack of sleep and some other things. So you answer these simple questions, takes a minute to do. And then you tell us what time you typically wake and go to sleep at home, what time you want to wake and go to sleep at your destination, enter your flight number and it automatically pulls in all the data. And then it automatically calculates a custom program for your body and your trip and your schedule for when to eat, sleep, and use the different supplements and glasses in your FlyKitt. So the physical FlyKitt comes with 4 different supplements, a drink mix, and these blue light blocking glasses, each of which we've designed from scratch to be sort of the highest quality supplements. We're using useful ingredients, but we also don't use things that have any safety risk or other things. I'm not using some bark from an Amazonian tree that no one's ever tested in humans, but the right doses of the right compounds at the right time work incredibly well. And so that's what it is. So the app gives you notifications for when to take any step you need to do. Your program starts the morning you depart. It's over sort of after your first full day in country. And if you follow those instructions, like I said, 93% of people are going to feel fantastic from their first day. It's going to get rid of the brain fog, fatigue. You're going to be able to go to sleep. The restlessness is going to go away. And for a lot of people, the gut issues can be constipation, diarrhea. And we have some interesting data. I can't say this conclusively yet, but we have some interesting data that people are less likely to get sick. It's my hypothesis that the reason people get sick when they fly is not because you're in an airplane and sharing air with people. It's not because you're in an airline terminal or an airport terminal. It's because your immune system with inflammation just means your immune system is sort of gone wonky and you just don't have your normal protection. And so the hypothesis is that actually this is also preventing people from getting sick. And we know some people who get sick every time they fly tell us they no longer do. So again, it really is kind of supporting you and taking away almost all these major pain points from travel because they all source cortisol disruption from jet lag, inflammation, all these things that just make you feel bad.
Yeah, jet lag is the worst. And I love that. So you start at the day that you leave. Like there's no pregame. There's no adjust your sleep for 2 weeks before.
People are too busy and have too much going on. That's just it's just not feasible. I mean, when I was doing this, I was doing it for business executives and then military personnel. And it's none of those people have the option to just go to bed at 4 p.m. in the middle of the week before they leave. It's just silly. And so some of the products on the market, you try to switch, over a week. And that tactic can actually work, but it's just not feasible and it's not any fun either. So that's why we designed FlyKitt to not have to do anything before the morning you leave.
Brilliant. And so everybody who gets the kit, the supplement amounts are the same, but what varies is the time that they take it or the schedule?
Yeah. So we figured out dosing in the sweet spot. So it's not too much. I mean, these are meant for adults. We do have a FlyKitt Junior that's in beta testing and works really well. But the supplements are meant for adults, but we're able to dose it in a way that there are some slight variations between people. And as you answer questions in your quiz, it will give you some variations. But absolutely, the timing is so critical. Anything having to do with circadian rhythm, anything with having to need to block a physiological insult like the problems caused by flight, all that stuff requires a lot of timing. And we have a lot of smart customers, and some of them try to figure it out and back out the algorithm and sort of guess it. And I will tell you that no one yet has sort of like been able to explain how to do it. And it makes sense because the algorithm to optimize it is going through about 1 billion different combinations per person to find the best one for you.
Brilliant. And so if I'm hearing you right, you're really like working with the inflammation that occurs that really contributes primarily to, or is one of the biggest causes to the maladjustment in circadian rhythm. So that's one of the things that you're doing primarily is like making sure the inflammation sort of stays in check where you can rebalance at a faster rate. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. So the inflammation can block you from shifting your circadian rhythm. And so we have to reset your circadian rhythm also. And we're doing that with light and supplements. And we're not just resetting your circadian rhythm in your brain, we're resetting the circadian rhythm in your peripheral body also. And so all of our organs have circadian rhythms. And if your gut and liver are off from your brain, like let me tell you, you're not happy either. So we're doing the central and peripheral circadian reset, but that's made possible to do very quickly because we're, like you said, keeping that inflammation in check.
Ah, brilliant. So the kit has blue light blocking glasses, correct? Because this is something you see blue light blocking glasses everywhere. They're legit. It's a legit thing to help.
Yeah, so there's different kinds of blue light blocking glasses. So the ones you have there have a very mild blocking, or they're blocking a very specific set of wavelengths. Because you can see, I mean, those are essentially clear, right? You don't see a tinge. The blue light blocking glasses you'll get in our kit have an orange lens because we're blocking 99% of blue light. And sort of from a physics standpoint, that lens will always be orange. And so it is incredibly powerful because our eyes have non-visual receptors for blue light called melanopsin receptors that wire directly into the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the SCN, which is the part of your brain that controls your circadian rhythm. And so light is a primary signal there, and we need to be able to manage that. And so, yeah, the glasses are tremendously effective at helping you kind of shift, make sure you shift the right way, make sure that at certain times you don't see light that would shift you the wrong way, and then pre-bed, helping your brain calm down. Blue light's very activating. And so you typically in a plan, you'll use the glasses before you sleep. And then at one other time during the day, your eyes are very sensitive. Your brain is sensitive to blue light, and it's going to push you the wrong way. And this is all calculated kind of off your estimated body temperature minimum. So there's all these calculations we're doing in the background to know when to do this and then make it easy for you to do.
And so when entering your info into the app, when you get FlyKitt, is it like a one-way, a round trip? Like how does that work?
Yeah, so the kit's good for a round trip anywhere in the world. So you actually might even have a couple extra capsules left over because we're going to make sure that even if you're flying from Los Angeles to Brussels to Dakar to Cape Town and then like wherever you're going, you're going to have enough to fly anywhere in the world. Or if you have a multi-city trip, so you're going to Tokyo and spending a week there, and then you're going to London, spending the week there, it's good for 2 of those legs. And so your FlyKitt is good for 2 legs or a full round trip anywhere in the world. And yeah, and the app will just sort of walk you through what to do for each of those.
I'm super excited because I have an upcoming trip to Spain and I'm like, I have to hit the ground running. I'm going to have to do something because this one I have to be on. So I don't have time to have like jet lag.
FlyKitt is your friend. FlyKitt is the answer for that need. Because again, like I said earlier, it's not just being able to sleep at the right time, but that brain fog you feel when you're traveling, FlyKitt for almost everyone totally gets rid of that.
Yeah, that's the hardest part is like I can be physically present, but my mind is like halfway there and that never really works. And so when it comes to jet lag, is there a difference between how men and women adjust?
There are some differences, both gender. The biggest thing we see with men and women is women tend to have more GI challenges, more GI gut symptoms. It can be constipation, diarrhea, but general more gut issues. And the big one, I would say, much bigger than the male-female difference is I think almost everyone will tell you as you get older, you get worse jet lag. And it makes sense as like all the research shows that your immune system is more dysregulated. You're more likely to have inflammation as you get older. So then it makes perfect sense that inflammation on top of inflammation is going to cause a big problem. And so for older people who travel, it is just such a benefit to be able to go somewhere and just not feel terrible. Also, the swelling and heaviness in your legs you see, it helps with that. And we also have compression socks and neuromuscular stimulators that can triple the blood flow to your legs. So we have just a whole suite of add-ons also that really make it very effective against really all the symptoms of jet lag.
Brilliant. And so beyond FlyKitt, what's some general advice you would offer people? Because, a lot of people, this seems to be like the recipe. I'll have a cocktail on the flight or a glass of wine. And then when I'm terribly tired the next morning, I'll have a couple cups of coffee. Like, I'm sure that's probably not, I'm guessing, your general advice. So what beyond FlyKitt can people do to help reduce jet lag?
Yeah, absolutely. So here's a few different things. One, as you're traveling, you want to stop eating 4 hours before you want to go to bed. That will help prevent you from eating and causing insulin spikes and other things that tend to keep people awake. Two, even if you don't use ours, the blue light blocking glasses for 60 to 90 minutes before bed can be really helpful. Three, eating higher protein, lower carbohydrate meals during your travel day. Carbohydrates in the wrong amounts at the wrong time tend to be a little more pro-inflammatory. Now, there's plenty, if you're eating fried chicken, you're eating protein, but it's still going to cause problems. So basically, eating an anti-inflammatory diet, helping drink a bunch of water is always good. I think we all know that. And I think those are a few different things that I like. And I guess the last one is don't sleep too much on the plane. If you are going to land in the afternoon and you've slept 8 hours, you are not going to sleep that night. Or 6 hours, you're probably still going to have trouble. So, you're up front of the plane, you're in business class or first class, you have a lie flat, that's fantastic, good for you. I love that. But if you sleep too much, you're going to have real trouble. And so I guess the last piece, I said that was the last one, but I'll give you another one. If you can fly on an A350 or a 787, because those planes are made from ceramic and composite materials, they allow them to keep a higher cabin pressure, meaning the cabin pressure drop when you go altitude is less, and you get less inflammation from it. So the reason you feel better on those planes is partially because you're getting less inflammation. So FlyKitt plus 787 plus A350 is kind of the best, but even if you only have a choice, we always recommend people fly on those planes.
Now that is a very good inside scoop. That is like, if you have choices, that's wildly intricate knowledge. That's fantastic. And so jet lag affects everyone, but who does it really benefit? Like, who is FlyKitt good for? Who have you seen results with?
Yeah, it's good for anyone who's taking a flight that's longer than 3 time zone changes or a big north-south. So if you're going from, let's say the US to Chile or Argentina, those big north-south flights, also because of the inflammation, it's just a tremendous benefit. And the red eyes from LA and San Francisco to New York, if you want to actually feel good and be able to perform during your red eye, that is an incredible way to use FlyKitt. But, I think what people really also like to hear about is like, who are the people who use it who are kind of exciting? So USA Soccer men and women are using FlyKitt. Pro sports teams like the Dodgers use it. We use dozens of pro and Olympic teams, as well as military and special ops organizations use it. And we're really proud to support them, as well as, business travelers and leisure travelers. A business traveler might want to land and perform really well at their meeting. And a leisure traveler that doesn't want to burn 2 days of their dream vacation and feel tired and miss out on things. So we use it across the board, but we definitely have a lot of pro and Olympic users. And we're very happy to see some solid medal performances from our customers in this last Olympics.
That's fantastic because, those are people that are so in tune with their body and their performance. And so if it works for them, then it says a lot. So I love that you've created a solution that is amazing, especially as a travel podcast. I'm like, yes, thank you for helping.
Well, please give it a try. For all the listeners, we have a money back guarantee. So you use it and it doesn't work great for you, which is very rare. But if you use it and it doesn't work great for you, we'll just give you your money back. So that's how confident we are in it. We're so proud of this product. We've done a lot of work to make it great. And so we want everyone to try it. And we're very excited also about some of the partnerships that are launching this year as well. So we're looking at partnering with a major US airline this year. It's already been announced, but I'll hold it here until the big announcement comes.
Cool. Well, I love it. I'm excited to see the growth and just to get the word out where the more people that try it and use it, the more that it grows. So I love it. So with that, we can move into the lightning round. And so we have 4 quick questions. The first one is, what is a travel tip or an inside scoop for your current location?
For current location, for the Los Angeles area, I'm just going to call out a restaurant you would never find in a million years. There's a Mexican seafood restaurant called La Paz, two words, Lapaz, in sort of like the Calabasas area of Los Angeles, and go and get the goat enchiladas. And it will change your view entirely of every word in the two-word phrase goat enchiladas.
That is fantastic. I am totally going to add that to my Los Angeles list. Yeah, because goat enchiladas, that can go a lot of ways.
Could be bad, but it's great. There's a very kind of local LA tip.
Awesome. And then number 2 is, what is a book that has inspired you to design this extraordinary life?
This is probably going to be not one you've heard before, but there's a book called The Making of the Atomic Bomb. It's sort of the Pulitzer Prize winning, kind of the most noted history of the Manhattan Project in the United States. And it profoundly affected me reading it in college because it's a bunch of people who, in rapid succession over a course of a very short period of time, figure out how to do something that was otherwise impossible. And from some scientific discoveries in the early 1900s all the way to actually the engineering and building of the bomb, it's just one discovery and one insight and one problem, one incredibly large problem solved right after another. And it, to me, is just a reminder or sort of a signpost that you can do incredible things and things can happen quickly. And so I don't, solving jet lag is not, building an atomic bomb, but, every once in a while you just sit there and like, did we actually do this? Like, did we actually solve jet lag? And you look at our customer reviews and like, yeah, we did. So I just think so much is possible if we are focused and oriented and doing it for the good reasons.
Love that. And question number 3 is, what is something that you always take with you, you never leave home without when you travel?
I think this is also going to be a strange answer. I carry a little bottle of hand soap with me. Turns out that the hand soap you will find in almost every bathroom in the world is full of toxic compounds, endocrine disruptors, synthetic fragrances. And so I carry a little bottle of hand soap because I don't want that stuff on my hands that then, your face, you touch food. That I carry that everywhere with me. And it's just a little thing I do for my health. And if other people think I'm weird, then why are you looking at me in the bathroom?
That's a great response. And you know what? I'm the same. Like those soaps in public bathrooms, I'm like, I would almost rather not wash my hands than put that on my hands. Let's see. And question number 4 is, what is on the top of your bucket list for adventures or destinations?
I've been lucky to do most of them. I would like to go to Georgia in the Caucasus. First of all, I studied in Russia in college, and the Georgian food is just incredible. And yeah, I've just always wanted to go there. It's a fascinating history. It's a very old country. They have a tremendous history and religion and geography and how it plays between there and Russia. So yeah, I'd like to go up into the mountains in Georgia and see the place.
Lovely. And I learned recently it's also the birthplace of wine. I didn't realize that. Like other places have claimed it, but apparently Georgia is the birthplace of wine. So it's got a lot going on.
They also do this. I mean, it's very dangerous. I don't really drink anymore, but they make a sweet wine, a sweet red wine that goes really well with the food. But I can tell you from younger days, be careful.
Well, where can people find you or connect with you online?
So for all things FlyKitt related, our website, flykitt.com, FLYKITT.com. It's all there. If you reach out with questions, Blake on our customer service team will personally respond to you. There's a human, and it's not like an outsourced call center. There's a human who works for our team, who's a core team member, who will respond to you. And occasionally I will respond to you. On social, you can follow us at FountBio, FOUNTBIO, which is sort of the parent company of FlyKitt. And you can also follow me at Andrew Herr Bio. Andrew, ANDREW, Herr, HERRBIO.
Awesome. And we will link all of that in the show notes. So thank you so much for sharing all of this beautiful information. Thank you for all of the gifts that you are sharing with the world and making it brighter. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Kim. Thanks for getting the word out. And if people have questions or comments or diatribes or concerns, please reach out to us. We'll make you a FlyKitt user and a FlyKitt lover after all.
Brilliant. And here's to happy travels. I am absolutely fascinated by the whole concept of FlyKitt and love Andrew's life experience that led him to creating it. And here are the key takeaways. Number 1, When possible, choose to fly on the A350 or the 787 because those two planes are ceramic planes and they're able to keep the cabin pressure higher, which in turn keeps you from increasing inflammation and helps you combat jet lag. Number 2, to help combat jet lag or prevent it, stop eating 4 hours before bed and wear blue light glasses for 60 to 90 minutes before bed. Number 3, eat a high protein and low carb meal to help reduce inflammation and in turn, jet lag. Number 4, if you are flying more than 3 time zones, or traveling a far distance from north to south, or even taking the red eye from LA to New York, and you need to be on top of your game when you arrive, then think about trying FlyKitt. 93% of the flyers who use it say they don't experience jet lag at all. And from where I'm standing, 93% is a pretty solid reason to try. The quote that I would like to leave you with today is from Wim Hof, otherwise known as the Iceman. I think many of you might know him. He is the man that brought cold plunge and breathing and repatterning your nervous system in the cold to the general public. He is an amazing motivational speaker, and he really does test the limits of the human body and mind, and he's super inspirational for many. He said, the sky is not the limit, the mind is. And I think we all can relate to that. We all know that if you believe it to be, it can be. But if you think it's impossible, then it is. It all is up to our thoughts and what we believe. It's one of the things I love about what Andrew is doing in the world is he is looking at it from all types of angles, and he has discovered a solution to a problem that so many of us have. I think most people would just look at jet lag and say, it's just part of the game. Suck it up. But Andrew knew differently. He felt intuitively that there was a solution to this problem, and he just said yes. And put the solution together and tried it. And what he has learned is that it worked. Sure, there's tweaking and things to change and ways to refine. That's life. We're constantly evolving and refining who we are and our products and life in general. But the thing is, he knew it was possible. And so it became. My hope is that you know that whatever that dream is in your heart, it is possible. You're given the dream in order to live it. So may you find inspiration in Andrew's story or any of these episodes here at Design Her Travel to know that you are here to live your dreams, and I believe you can do it. So if you need that little dose of inspiration, let it be that today. You've got this, my friend. If you enjoyed this episode today, then please share it with a friend. That little act of kindness means a lot and helps more than you know. And of course, leaving a rating or review is one of the best ways for other people to discover these stories. So whatever your preferred podcast player is, just head on over and leave a rating and review. It really does make all the difference. Until next time, my friends. Thank you so much for showing up and listening to this episode. I know that there are so many things in life that you could be doing right now. And so it means a lot to me that you're here. There are so many more episodes coming your way. So if you enjoyed the show, please take a moment to review and follow us on Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you know someone who might like to hear it, please share. Those little acts of kindness mean a lot and help more than you know. I appreciate your time and getting the opportunity to share this moment. I'd love to hear more from you. I'd love to connect, so reach out on social. You can find me on Instagram at Seafaring Wanderer. That's SEAFAR DesignWanderer. And then you can join our Facebook group at Design Her Travel Podcast. I would love to connect, hear more from you. Let me know what you'd like to hear more of, places you'd like to hear about, and things you'd like to know how to do when designing your life. So thank you, everyone, and I'll be back soon.